On today's episode of Bucked Up.
Oh, 17 tracks on it? Damn!
There's 17
Oh,
tracks.
I'm excited for that.
There's 17 tracks. It's like a big wombo record. It's great because I think if I remember correctly, Kenny thought we were gonna do like more of like an EP kind of thing. But I was like, I'm ready to work. And I just kept, I was like,
Kenny gets tricked into every project he does.
Have you ever heard about like this curvyism philosophy of like gameplay too?
No.
Where like, and Nintendo loves to do this, where they love to make a game that's easy, but if you want it to be hard, it can be. And Kirby is like the first time they ever like experimented with this.
I have to do the clap for the microphone.
Oh yeah.
With my setup, literally it's a phone and microphones you don't even have to hold. So
Right.
you can literally do it anywhere.
Anywhere.
And the
rules.
iPhone's basically waterproof, so
I know. Yeah.
we're under a tree, we're good.
Yeah, I think we are good. That's so true.
Imagine when they didn't have roofs. Like roofs were an invention.
Yeah. Yeah, coverings, canopy,
Anything.
you know.
You don't smoke weed. I'm already high, so I'm going on my
good.
deep thoughts of like
No, good. I used to.
everything's an invention.
I
you know?
I used to smoke spliffs. So like, I'd smoke like 3, 4, 5 spliffs a day, and then in 2021, I was like, I have to quit smoking tobacco, or I'll fucking die. Obviously.
Yeah.
But so I quit, and then it like changed my relationship with weed, because I'd try to smoke weed like by itself, and it would get me way too high. I remember like one of the first times I tried this, I was watching the Castlevania anime on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna go smoke a joint. And I did that, and I was like, this should be fine. Like, no tobacco, it's all good. I'm gonna fill the rest of it, like, it should be fine. And then I came back, and it was like scaring the shit out of me. And I was like, my like legs were shaking, and I was like, this is fucked up. So I just had to stop. And then now I do sometimes, like, but not really very often, like maybe like every week or so.
Weed has gotten wicked strong, I feel like, in the past
And, yeah,
2
that
years.
too.
But I don't smoke tobacco. I'm 5 years clean of all tobacco.
Nice.
I just smoke weed.
Nice.
And you are right. When you quit it, you realize that you had a tobacco addiction.
Right, like
It's
and it
not
kinda
the
like,
weed.
right?
It's
And it
like-
like neutralizes the weed in a way. It makes it like different.
It's
To
like
me,
you
at least,
tricking
yeah.
your brain into being like, oh, I'm smoking weed, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But really you're
exactly.
doing, because
Exactly.
you never smoke a cigarette. You know what I
Right,
mean?
and I wasn't. I was just rolling
Exact on the European shit.
Right, and I mean, I guess sometimes I'd smoke cigs. Like
Yeah.
on tour, I was smoking cigs a lot because it was a great way to be like, I'm fucking off for 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my problem with food.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the road and stuff, I just want to
Yeah.
eat unhealthy because it's such like a good coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've been trying to like get on my workout shit, working out every day, but like
Nice.
I just love eating. It's a problem.
Yeah.
You ever seen The Whale?
The
That one
Whale.
with Brendan Fraser that he just
Oh
won?
no, but he won the award for it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw his like reaction to him winning the award, which is beautiful.
Did you see the movie though?
No, I haven't seen the movie.
It's like a little harsh on like obese people.
Whoa.
But there's a scene that when he eats and he just kind of like goes into a state that I'm like, damn, like
Whoa.
I feel that heavy, you know?
They
Like
put him in a fugue state.
yeah, because
Golly.
I'm 280 pounds, like I'm a 46-inch waist, like I'm big. I just wear baggy clothes.
Yeah.
But that's my whatever.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I feel like in like the last few years, I think like fashion has really caught up to big people. Because I think I'm kind of big too. I mean,
But you rock your shit. Like you're
Yeah,
always posting
like-
fashion shit that I'm like, damn, like I love your style.
I really try my hardest to like, because it's like if I don't, then I know I don't feel good. So it's like a look good, feel good thing. But I like workwear and like, you know, that all that shit. Like I'm really into like Matty Matheson, and like his style is a big influence on me for style. He has this great clothing brand that is very expensive, but one day
Bigger sizes?
Yeah, so it's called Rosa Rugosa, and it's like a monochrome workwear clothing line, and they have like 5 different clothing items in like 6 different colors.
Okay.
So they have like 2 different kinds of pants, 2 different kinds of button-down shirts, and like some like trucker hats and like kind of like more like accessory type items in all these different colors, like black. They have white, and like they do like an off-white and like a teal, and you can kind of just like buy a whole set, you know. And they do like, there's like trousers, and then there's like Carhartt double knee kind of like dupe pants.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I just got into thrifting for the first time recently.
Oh shit.
I had never really done that before. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really big on it. I have like a huge collection of like vintage t-shirts and stuff.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I think I hit an age where I was like, damn, I can't just be wearing like tour merch anymore. You know what I mean? Like I'll wear it, but like I have to change my style up just a little bit.
Yeah. For me, I love like media and like pop culture and stuff. So I love like old stuff and shit like that. So when I got into collecting shirts, it was not even that long ago, like maybe like a year ago, where I got serious about collecting like vintage shirts and like cataloging what I owned and like keeping them all kind of together. And I have like 200 shirts.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem, is I don't know where to put all these clothes that I'm getting.
I bought like an industrial like store clothing rack. And all my shirts are on it, like organized by color.
Oh, okay. I have my hoodies organized by color.
Yeah.
So you were talking about Castlevania anime. Did you watch the One Piece live action shit?
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't want to watch it.
I think it's gonna get me into anime. I started watching the anime and I'd never watched anime before.
You've never watched anime and you're gonna watch One Piece?
I watched the One Piece live action, loved it so much that I know I'm a basic bitch right now.
Well, I mean, do you know the whole thing with One Piece and how it's very long?
Yeah, there's like 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, that's like the
But you
longest
can skip
running.
the first 45 if you watch the live action.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm doing research on the filler arcs not to watch.
Yeah. I'm sure there's all kinds of watch guides.
But isn't that The Simpsons? There's the same amount of episodes
I
of The
guess
Simpsons.
so, but The Simpsons, you can jump in anywhere. Like, you jump in One Piece episode 700, they're going to be talking about shit that you have no idea about. They're going to be like, oh yeah, and this guy's back. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I feel you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that with this podcast driving here with you. Because I was going to be like, bro, I was going to start it off by being like, bro, I saw you at Solid Sound 4 years ago, fucking the Wilco Festival, but no one who listens to my podcast probably knows what Solid Sound or even Wilco is. Even though that's so crazy to me, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, that was a great time. That was a great festival. I was excited just to go. I didn't really know I was going until that day.
Really?
Yeah, because Rory was playing, and then he was like, do you guys just want to like come with me to Solid Sound? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And we just like got in the car and we drove down there. And I met Clipping that day, and that was cool.
That's who, I was trying to think who else was performing.
Yeah.
Was that the Courtney Barnett year?
No, that was the next year, I think.
Oh, okay.
The Courtney Barnett one was a way more recent. Yeah.
But that was a while ago. And that's why when I found out you were in the area, and all that shit, it was like so many clicks in my brain. You know what I mean? Because I became a huge fan of you and then digging through Ruby Yacht since then, since seeing y'all's performance.
That's what's up. Yeah, that was a fun time. Like, I was just along for the ride. A lot of the times I'm just like along for the ride and doing like Ruby Yacht stuff. I try not to be like too, I don't know.
I feel like you're being humble.
I try to be.
You did the Spontaneation shit, which is
my God.
another thing that maybe my listeners have no idea about. But Paul F. Tompkins is the reason I got into comedy.
He is the coolest dude ever. Like if Paul, if listening to this, Paul's the coolest guy ever. Like it was so cool. It was so sick. I like got to the show, everyone was getting ready, like doing stuff, and like I said hi to everybody, and we were just chilling. And then all of a sudden, Paul was like, "Dad, I want to give this to you." It's like an enamel pin, a Spontaneation like branded enamel pin. And it's like, now you have like this keepsake that you did this forever.
That's crazy. How did that come together?
Fuck yeah. Oh, so Kenny, who I just did this record with, is really good friends with Jordan Cass, who I don't know if you know. He's an amazing trumpet player. He's friends with all kinds of artists in kind of our sphere. He played trumpet in Open Mike Eagle's Tiny Desk. That's like a thing.
But he's
But he's also the band leader for Varietopia, which is that show.
Varietopia. Yeah.
Sorry, not Spontaneous Nation. Varietopia. Exactly. Different Paul F. Tompkins project. But he's Jordan's the band leader for the show that they do there. So they were looking for someone to be the musical guest in New York, and Kenny was like, "Hey, how about Dev?" And they were just like, "Yeah, let's do it." You know. And I think I'm like the least famous person to ever do Varietopia, which is cool. I like super dig. And I got to meet a lot of people. It was very interesting. Like, I'm like sitting in the green room with all the other acts, all the other people involved, and they're like talking about what it's like to be on SNL. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'm from like Massachusetts. I just drove down here. Like, you know, it was very cool though.
That's so funny how you see yourself. You know what, bro? I was nervous as hell driving over here to talk to you.
Good.
I've been a fan of you for what, 5-6 years at this point. Like, I was nervous to come over here and talk to you. But it is funny because that's probably what I like in your music, is who you are. You know?
That's so sweet. Yeah. I don't know. I'm 27 now, but sometimes I still feel like a kid, like, or like the young gun in some ways, like because the people I'm looking up to are also growing up. So I'm not like, I don't know.
Is that what you like about Nintendo? Yeah.
Well, I think I like youthful things. I like whimsy in general. Like, there's this thing that Rory wrote about Rubaiyat about the 7 virtues, and there's like 7 virtues of Rubaiyat. And one of them is whimsy, and I've always felt like I'm like the one in the crew that like specializes in that. Yeah.
What are the others?
Bop. You're gonna put me on the spot. I don't know.
Oh, you don't have to. Whimsy. You're whimsy.
Whimsy, Bop.
It's like the 7.
Agency is one of them.
The 7 dwarves. And
right.
Snow White. Yeah. You are whimsy.
I'm whimsy. I feel it. I just like to have fun and be like positive. I was just talking about this with my partner because we're both like getting over a cold, and my birthday weekend was recently, and I was like kind of sick on my birthday and the day after, and just did not break morale at all. I was like still stoked, and I was like, yeah, my superpower is being optimistic even when like things kind of suck.
You kind of have to though, because if you don't, you just snowball.
Yeah.
Like, you can snowball good things. Like, if you never quit music, if you never quit anything, it'll get better. Proven fact. But if you don't, it'll go the other way.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's a tough thing to realize, that you're in charge of your happiness. You know?
Yeah. And I guess, like, that's, you know, why I'm so focused. Or I just enjoy and honor my, like, interest in video games, like Nintendo and Disney. Like,
I bring Nintendo up for a reason, though. Because Nintendo sticks to their guns of like, they're basically like indie games compared to like big AAA PS5, but they still are they still sell better. They still like they're it's still their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. That's why I pull up with an iPhone, and I'm not even inspired by Nintendo in that way, but thinking about it, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
They're proof of the pudding to sticking to your guns, you know?
Well, for me, it's a good difference in philosophy. I think it's always been this thing where, like, Nintendo is not playing the same game that Microsoft and Sony are. Microsoft and Sony want to fill the same role. Nintendo is just like, you guys are dumb. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. And it's this philosophy, I think, of, like, ease of access. Ease of access and... like accessibility, I guess is there's the same thing, but I think overall it's like accessibility to this like joy and this like state of play, because not anybody of any age can go pick up The Last of Us and have a fun time, you know, or like Call of Duty, or Halo, or any of these games that are like the big pillars of Microsoft and Sony. You can't just like jump in and be like, oh, this is fun. But anybody old or young or anywhere on the spectrum of like identity or age can enjoy Mario, because he's just like a funny little plumber guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You just like jump around and
any of the games. Any of them have like
Have you ever heard about like this Kirbyism philosophy of like gameplay too?
No.
Where like, and Nintendo loves to do this, where they love to make a game that's easy, but if you want it to be hard, it can be. And Kirby is like the first time they ever like experimented with this, where like in Kirby, he can fly over all the obstacles. You could just fly over the whole level and finish it. But you could also choose not to and interact with the level and solve the puzzles and fight the guys and get the power-ups.
I like that.
But you don't have to. And then a lot of Kirby games have this like heat system. Like once you've beaten the game, you can like rerun the game with this like level of heat that makes the game more difficult, and then you can like raise it all the way up, and then it's like impossible or whatever, and it's like super hard and fun for folks who love a challenge. And I think that's like the big difference between Nintendo and other game companies, is that they're like kind of thinking about everybody and not like what culture has like deemed like a gamer is, you know. They're thinking about those people that maybe don't play video games every day or know about all the things or read IGN or whatever, and they want them to have fun too. I think that's pretty like important, you know.
Yeah, I'm super into the ideology of attention as the universal currency and giving attention to things that matter and things that are positive and not. And it's really funny because I was very blind to the whole like misogynistic YouTube blow up.
Yeah,
that's I had no idea.
Whoa.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like Call of Duty is. It's like we can feed into people's anger. And Nintendo doesn't feed into anger, it feeds into nostalgia.
Yeah.
But like hatred sells, like sex sells. Like there's these things that are like we can push it to 10, sell, but you don't have to live life that way.
Right.
I don't know.
I agree.
That was a weird. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. I think at the core of it, you're trying to express that like there's other avenues to like evoke, you know, joy or evoke like engagement from a product than like controversy. Yeah. Like I think that's kind of what you're getting at.
I don't think you should hate watch things.
Right.
I think you should focus on whatever, no matter how niche it is, focus on it, and that in itself will work out.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that's the Ruby Yacht shit. I love it because it's hella niche.
Hell yeah.
You know, but it's not at all, because if you play it for most people, they'd enjoy it.
Right. Well, I think we're like one of the last classic crews. Like we really do it in a way that is like traditional but also inventive, and like it's like traditional but modern, inventive and forward thinking, I think. And it's a great time getting to honor that idea with people that I love, and like, you know, yeah.
How'd you link up being from Massachusetts?
I went to the first ever, I think it was the first Milo show in Boston in 2013. I found out about that first mixtape from Fantano, and I was a sophomore in high school, obsessed with it over the whole summer, just bumping it every day. Like I had never heard anything like it before in my life. Like I had known about like doom and like rap that was, you know, underground and alt in that way, but I'd never heard a rapper that, you know, because Doom is like a character, he's like outside of reality in some ways. I'd never heard someone that was so real and so like so in my mind relatable, and it was very new for me. So I went to the show. I was like 16. It was 2013. I met Rory at the show. There were some people there. I was like one of like 7 people that came to the show, and that was cool. And I'll say this: it's so amazing to know him from there, to now seeing him like sell out shows in London 5 nights in a row, or whatever. Like just doing all this crazy huge shit. I've always been such like such a supporter and like always rooting for him to win. But at the show, I was just like started asking questions, very inquisitive, very like curious about like what all this shit was, like how you're doing this, like what's the sampler you're using to play the songs, how does that all work? And he was just very gracious and just like answered my questions and was willing to just like tell me the data that I wanted, you know? And when I had that data, I just got to work basically, and was like started rapping, making beats of my own in school and at home, and like my like ultimate goal was always to join Yacht. And then I did that. It's been like, I like to say everything is extra after that, but really it's this like exercise of like, now what, you know, like what's next? Like, how do I push the envelope and like represent this crew in a way that I can be proud of. Yeah.
That's I want to keep going on that, but I want to go back to my point that I was highly fucking up the words. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You were one of 7 people in there, but you thought if I just stick to this and if I just stick to it, no matter the popularity of it, no matter what, I'm just sticking to what I want, my passion.
Yeah.
Let's put blinders on everything else. Then you do come to a place where you're now releasing an album with Kenny. And that's exactly 10 years later of not focusing on what would make you popular. Not focusing on what I meant before is hating on women to get popular on YouTube.
Sure.
Or like video games, trying to kill people to make it more popular.
Yeah.
Or rap about a certain thing. It's like, no, I'm gonna focus on what I want for 10 years. Attention is the universal currency, and you get to where you are right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been like a wild ride. I moved up to Maine for 4 years and was living above Suffolk in Maine. Did a bunch of touring. Been to like most states in the country. And it's just been dope. And I've like every day is a gift from like what I've learned and like what I've absorbed from being around all these amazing artists that I've met through this journey, and like it's fucking dope.
How is the path gone in these past 10 years versus what you expected?
In some ways, it's exactly what I expected, but I think the pace is different. I think to be young and to be excited, you like speed things up, and you go through these ebbs and flows where I'm like, oh, like X, Y, or Z thing hasn't happened yet in 5 years, so maybe that will never happen, you know? And then 5 years later it does, and it's like recontextualizing the pace at how these things go, and also like imagining my path as somebody else's and comparing. I think that's something that I was battling with a lot, where I'm like, oh, well, this person and this person did this thing when they were younger than me. Like, maybe I'll never do it. You know, maybe I'll never play this venue or, you know, do.
This episode is sponsored by Infused Productions. They are the best in cannabis products and events. Make sure to follow them online at Infused Productions. That's INFUZED Productions, and check out what they have going on. Let's get back into it.
Do this circuit or whatever it is, or like rap with this person, but it's all sort of like it's not relative to each other. Like everyone's path is different, and I think kind of zeroing in on that like changed how I'm able to like keep motivated.
How did you realize that? How did you come to that realization?
You know, I think it just came with a lot of reflection. And like when I would feel down and I'd feel like I wasn't doing something right, instead of just like being like, yup, that must be it, I think I try to analyze why I feel that way and like how I can move past it so that it doesn't like put a detriment onto my like overall goal artistically, you know, or just like I don't want to let a feeling like that stop me from rapping. So I'm always trying to like kind of get on top of it, you know? So I think it's just a lot of like a lot of moments in those times where I'm like catching myself and like letting myself like reflect instead of just like allowing it to fuck me over.
Yeah. Do you think because you started so young, seriously, you see yourself as this like older person? Like you're 27, like I'm 26.
Cool.
You're 27. Like you are young. Like you are young in the grand scheme of things,
I guess
especially in, as a fan, the realm of music you're in. It's like comedians. Comedians don't blow up until like a young comedian's 35 to 40.
Cool.
When you really think about like, who are the young comedians? They're like in their 30s, you know? And I feel like that's the same thing with non-mainstream rap.
Yeah. I think that it can vary. And the state of the internet is just all so different. And obviously that's how we all sort of like, that's like the tool we all use despite art form to like gain attention or pop off or whatever. And it's so volatile. I do think in the past we were a lot younger when we were popping off. I don't know though, because again, everyone's journey is different. I see myself as young sometimes, but then I go play a show or I'm like around other people and then I feel old. Like sometimes I go to these shows like in the city and I'm like, damn, like I'm fucking old. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh shit, like I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know.
I guess I feel
I'm kind of like focused in my own.
But is that old or is that just what I was talking about before? That you're smart enough to give your attention to the things that matter to you?
Yeah.
Because I guess that is being like when you're young, you just want to give your attention to everything. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, like you want to be like on the up and up as to like the whole zeitgeist.
I want to do this and this and this and this
exactly.
and this. And I think that's a scary thing that young people need to understand is you can do anything, but you have to focus on one thing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like proving that you can focus on one thing will give you the ability to do whatever in the end.
Yeah, heard that. Yeah. I think overall, when I'm around like my folks, I feel like kind of young. But when I go out and journey out into the world, I feel old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why you like the nostalgia.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think I like nostalgia for a lot of reasons. You know, there's a lot of like inner child here, like healing that goes on when we, as older folk or just like young adults, engage with these things that were popular when we were younger. I think what that really is like a return to like the beginning of the self and like to sort of just like guide a younger self through trauma and harm, you know? Yeah.
I just, not to get all like personal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just went through like a breakup from a longer relationship. And it was a good relationship. And like trying to explain to friends why it didn't work out when it's good is tough.
Yeah.
But what we realized with each other is we were just kind of like feeding each other's hurt inner child. Instead of like growing past it, we were like living in that. And I think that is a tough place I get stuck in nostalgia. It's like nostalgia of feelings.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I feel that.
I don't know.
I feel that.
Not to get all like weird on it.
No.
But you know what I mean? It's like you need to find someone that wants to help you grow, not that like fills the thing you missed when you were younger.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to like romance and like partnership, that's not the greatest approach or value. But I think in terms of like hobbies, it is. I think it can be like healthy for your hobby to be something that will like lead you to some sort of like more complete, you know, when you like finish that loop and you like break that cycle of like ruminating on the past. I think engaging with stuff like video games, or if it's comics, or if it's, you know, crochet, that whatever it is, you know, I think practices like that for the self can be like super beneficial. Yeah.
You do have to give yourself enough of what you want.
Yeah.
Because if you push yourself too hard, you will just like...
Yeah.
If you start to feel jaded, that's when you like...
Yeah.
You know?
I have such a fear of becoming jaded. And I feel like sometimes I can be a little jaded. But I think, I don't know, it's like my biggest fear for me to be like shut off from everything new, you know? Because I like don't get it or don't want to get it because it's not what I'm doing or whatever.
What type of old person do you think you're going to be?
I think I'm going to be like the silent, inquisitive type of old person. Like, I'm not going to be too engaging as an old person. I'm just going to be like, you know, like those grandparents that, you know, they just give you a thumbs up. They don't say shit to you. Like, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have learned through this podcast, and I'm not good at it yet, of just like learning that you don't need to talk.
Yo, it's so true.
Time.
Yeah, you just don't need to. Sometimes you could just be like, yep.
But
Which is nice. It's nice.
Are you an only child?
No, I have an older sister.
Okay, I'm an only child, so I feel like I always try to fill silence up.
Oh, cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Because no one told, like, there was no one to bounce off the ideas with.
For sure.
Like,
you didn't have an older sister that was telling you to shut up all the time.
Like, all right, it's like when you see old couples that worked, the guy is always quiet as hell.
That's so true. Well, I work in like the beer industry. I work in the craft beer industry. And I've worked at a couple places like bartending and like serving beer. And I see a lot of that. Where one person in the couple will come up and they're like the talker. And like the other one, whoever it is, like in any dynamic, but there's always like one person who's like, they're the one that's like, I'm here to like do the transaction for both of us. Like, like, you know what I mean?
Do you think opposites attract?
Sometimes. I think that's like a person by person thing. Mm-hmm. I think some people like when their partner is like them, or they're attracted to people who are like them, and then other people like to be who they are and not have that get dominated. So I think that they like people who aren't like them. Yeah. But like, I don't think it's a hard rule.
Yeah.
You know?
Are your parents together?
No.
See, and you have a very good mindset. Mine aren't together either, but I don't have a good mindset about it. Like,
you're like, fuck that.
No, I just feel like you see relationships in a very positive mindset, or I mean, you've thought deeply about it.
I have.
It's not like you have a trauma-based reaction to relationships that I know of.
No. I don't think. I went through a pretty bad breakup like a couple of years ago. But I think I was the person that like had to be like, this is not working. This is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
and it does build up like that. It does build up.
It did. And
they're like, I need to say that thing right now.
It took a lot of strength for me because I'm a very like passive person. That's like when I'm like very passive in terms of that. So it took a lot of strength for me. But I think since then I've been like really like analyzing like what I want in life, and I do want like a partnership. Like, that is something that I value, and now I'm with a partner that I'm really happy with. Been together for almost 2 years, and it's dope. It's sick. We have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but sometimes you need those like bad relationships to like make you understand what you want. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Your music reminds me of what you just said, because you're like, I'm not even like, I'm not a music journalist, so I don't mean to like talk to you about it, but what I really love about how you rap sometimes is it'll be like nice, and then you'll just like get a little angry or like, and I love that shit where it's like, I just need to get these points out right now.
Epic was like my angry record. Epic is like a mad record. Because I was like mad at the industry, and I was mad at like the world, and I was mad at like my place in life. I just like was like, yeah, rapping about it. Yeah.
What about the industry?
I was mad at how it like worked or works, you know, and now I'm not. I think I was just frustrated because this was like in the midst of COVID. I guess the context of it is that like I spent a very long time working on this album called Draft Track that is like my growing up story. Like it's meticulously detailed and you have to just be me to understand all the references. Like it's very niche and very like pigeonholed in that way. I'm like referencing things from my hometown and rapping about my mom and interviewing my mom for the record. So like her voice samples are all over each track, and like I had like spreadsheets and like diagrams of like how things were going to connect in my brain. Like I spent a long time meticulously planning this record, and then I put it out in 2020. And so it just like couldn't tour it.
Yeah.
No one's fucking listening to Dev's crazy record. And it bummed me out. I mean, I think it's like one of my best records. I'm like so proud of Draft Track. But I was like, damn, everyone has to fucking hear this. Like, come on. And then
You weren't happy with how it was received?
I wasn't happy with like, I guess I wasn't happy with COVID and like the way it was affecting how I could like bring it to people.
But see, that's what I like about it, because I like people rapping about things that I might not understand.
Cool.
Isn't that what DJ Lucas's shit is about? Like he'll just
guess
rap
so. I
about
guess so,
like
yeah. I guess
some
so, yeah.
random shit in Western Mass that you have no idea about,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I love DJ Lucas. Oh, DJ Lucas. Who's that man outside of Duncan?
But that's what I like
Yeah.
your music for that same reason, that it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, that it doesn't have to be accessible, because that in itself is accessibility.
Yeah.
It's Kirby. You can
Sure.
like it,
Sure.
or you can go
All
way
right.
deeper
Yeah.
into it.
That's true.
and then really understand it, or you can just like it
At the surface level.
at the surface
Yeah.
level.
Well, so,
My high thoughts do come back around
so
for
funny.
people listening. I need people to know I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid.
That's funny. Well, yeah. It's and I guess it was about my like invested time, and then I kept ruminating. I was like, damn, I should have just finished this a year earlier, like I wanted to, and put it out a year earlier. You know, I should have just like I spent so long on this thing. And I was like, damn, if I just had it done by 2019, I could have like toured it and it'd have been great or whatever. So when I decided it was time to do another record, and I was like, I'm gonna do Epic, I made it in 2 weeks. I just banged it out. I was like, I'm not gonna even think about this for more than a month. I just wrote a record, wrote a rap every day for like a week or so. I was streaming on Twitch and like making beats at the time, so I just took all the beats I was making on Twitch and picked my favorite ones and made the record. And then really the time investment was in the orchestration and not in the production of the record. And I think that's why I just completely flipped my normal formula, and it like worked, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which one did you enjoy? Which one did you feel more fulfilled by?
Epic. Because it was like a triumph. I was like, yes!
But would you have wanted to tour with that album, or now 3 years later, you're about to release this album with Kenny,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be...
It's already like, even with the single, it's been big, a bigger moment than anything I've ever done. It's been super fun and exciting to see. My screen time has gone fucking skyrocketed because I'm like,
You're just always looking.
Yeah, I'm always looking. But it's like fun. It's fun. I'm so excited about it. It's like a dream come true. But I still think about Draft Track sometimes. I still think about like, I should do like a deluxe version of Draft Track and put it on vinyl. I think about Draft Track.
But can't you?
I could, but sometimes it's good to like leave the past in the past. Like,
Yeah, but now I get why I see rappers like rapping the album in full entirety like 10 years
because
later.
sometimes records are like, they don't go away in your brain, you know? Like,
Well, people don't realize how personal creating is until they create, and most people don't create, you know?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
They just think, yeah, you put shit out, you just keep putting shit out. But it's like, that's not really it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
your connection to these things and what you're trying to portray
Yeah.
is not what you're receiving,
Right.
you know?
And it was like I had one chance. Well, this is how I see it. Obviously, it's not like the truth, but I feel like I had one chance to make a record that was like my autobiography. And that was it, And I don't want to like let it go right away.
It's really funny though, because I've never played a Zelda game in my life. But I listened to that song.
Oh, cool.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. I know who, as a fan, I know who you are trying to portray yourself as rapping in that way. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like, that's hella autobiographical, even though if I asked you, is that song autobiographical? No.
I would probably say no.
It's about a character.
It's about a character in a video game.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this record is also kind of autobiographical in a way, too, because the first single is just about Beetle, but the concept of the record at its whole is about this relationship between work and play and how they feed into each other and what we do when our play becomes our work or vice versa. So a lot of the songs are about this like escapism, and it's like, what are we escaping by like spending a whole day playing video games, or like why do we do things like this? Why is there so much of a culture around like, oh my god, my favorite game sequel's coming out, I'm gonna take off a week of work and just play it all day and like escape from the world and whatever. And it does talk a little bit about just like, or I guess a lot about my relationship to that, because you know my music. I rap about Steven Universe all the time and fucking cartoons and video games and shit, and I'm referencing all kinds of stuff. And sometimes in the past, I felt like when I'm playing a game, I'm playing it so I know about it, so I can rap about it later. And I'm like, so
you're not even enjoying it.
Well, I am, but then I still think about that, And then you can see how that could totally shift, until I'm not enjoying it at all, which is like my fear. But I do obviously I still play games and enjoy them, but sometimes I'm like, I catch myself not being fully immersed in the game because I'm thinking about, I gotta make sure I remember this detail, or I'm like writing things down so I can put it in a bar or whatever.
I think that's a big problem with comedians. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is though.
People think everything's a joke. They just live life as a joke and not realize that shit's serious.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I like this podcast being more serious. Like, I'll joke around, we're joking around, but I like a more serious conversation because not everything is a joke.
Yeah.
And if you live that way, then you're not going to have serious things.
Yeah. That's so true.
But as a rapper, you're probably drawing inspiration, or as a musician, as an artist, you're drawing inspiration.
Right.
But then you don't get to enjoy the inspiration as much if you're always thinking about what you're creating.
And it's like, is it really inspired if it's like, this is what my fans expect from me, to do a Mario sample and make a beat out of it or whatever, Is it really inspired if I just default to that?
Then why did you do a Zelda inspired as your first single on the Kenny album?
A, because the song is really fucking good and I love it. And B, because when people hear the second single, you'll see the duality. So I'll talk about it now because I guess it's coming out. Yeah,
this will come out more to when the album is released.
Cool. So the second single was Memory Card, and Memory Card is a song about how we ruminate on our past, and it's about connecting to our past and sort of just like looking back on times where we've like been joyful or like had fun, and how we can honor them without exploiting them. That's kind of like what Memory Card is about. And it kind of just plays on this, throughout the whole track, plays on this metaphor of like, when I'm stuck in the past, it's like a memory card having some trouble with lag. Yeah. So it's like video game metaphor, but not exactly like about a thing. And I think that's sort of like the two ends of the spectrum that the record explores. Like, some songs are just about video games, which is like my bread and butter in a way, and then some songs start to like dip into like the more like thematic and the more like philosophical idea that the whole record is about.
How did the record come together?
Record came together in July of 2019 is when me and Kenny decided that we were going to do this. I was taking a trip to LA to do some Yacht stuff. And we had talked about it a little bit, but then that
Kenny
was...
Segal, I feel like I should say.
Kenny Segal, a
amazing
legendary producer.
He's been on this podcast. Listen to that episode.
Oh, he has?
Yeah.
Oh my God, when did you get Kenny?
He talked about your album like a year and a half ago.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, yeah, so July of 2019, I took a trip out to LA to do some Yacht stuff, and we had talked about doing the record then, officially for the first time. Like, we like chatted about it on the internet, but then we like had a moment to like talk, and then we kind of like started doing a little bit of work over the next like year or so over the internet, but it would be a while until I'd fly back out to do stuff. I did a tour about a year ago, and the tour had me stop. Well, so actually in July of 2019, I was there for like a week. So he sent me a few beats, and I wrote Reset that trip, which is the first song on the record. And then it would be a little bit of a time until I was back in LA, and I stopped through, and we recorded like 2 more songs when I stopped through on a tour. And then at the end of that tour, I was in Canada, and I was chatting with Kenny, and he was like, oh, like, we have this like window of time that would be perfect for you to fly out and like really like work on this. So I was like, oh, cool, like, let's do it. And that was a little over a year ago now, I think. Yeah, it was like a little over a year ago that I flew out to like do what is like the meat of the record, where I was staying with him for like a week, and we'd like wake up a little early, do a song, or we'd like get breakfast, do a song, you know, break for lunch, and like kind of chat for a bit, do another song, and then we'd like chill for a while. And sometimes if we were like feeling it, we'd do a third song, but not every day. And if we're having fun, we like went to Scenario and like did cool shit and like had fun and like ate cheeseburgers and whatever. It was just like a super duper fun time. Played a lot of video games. And then we made like 7 or so tracks, and then I flew home, and then we kind of like sat on those for a little bit, talked about stuff. We got some feedback from our friends, and then we did like 5 or so more. And then the record ended up being like 17 songs. It's like 50 minutes long.
Oh, 17 tracks on it?
Yeah.
Damn.
There's 17 tracks.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
There's 17 tracks. It's like a big wumbo record. It's great because I think if I remember correctly, Kenny thought we were going to do like more of like an EP kind of thing. But I was like, I'm ready to work. And I just kept, I was like,
Kenny gets tricked into every project he does.
Yeah, that shit with Kenny, yeah. But yeah.
Every story he was telling me is like,
I got tricked into this one. Yeah, so.
Like his shit with Serengeti.
Yeah, with Getty. Oh my God. But yeah, so I just kept working. We just kept it vibing, and it was like fun in that way. We just kept having fun. And the whole idea of doing a video game record with Kenny started because we did a tour where he was opening for Milo, and I was playing drums in like the Yacht house band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a drummer.
Yeah, originally I'm a drummer before any beats or anything.
That's crazy.
Drums,
oh,
yeah.
damn.
We both brought our Switches. This tour was in 2018. We both brought our Switches, and we were both playing this game, Enter the Gungeon. And we just bonded on this whole trip about playing Gungeon. Like, we'd be sitting in the van, like, oh, you got that item? That's crazy. Like, hell yeah. Like, and we were just fucking gaming on every car ride on this tour. And that's when I first met him, and so we, like, really bonded over just, like, video games. So I kind of in the back of my mind, because this has always been a goal for me, I was like, if I ever get to do a record with Kenny, I want it to be, like, about video games. Because, like, I feel like this is something that we can both kind of, like, meet on and, like, have different, like, perspectives on in a cool way. I remember when Soul Folks opened, they had an arcade machine in Soul Folks, the first one in Maine, and I remember watching Kenny play Galaga and crushing it. He's so good at Galaga. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And it was just like cool to see that. I've never seen someone like just crush Galaga like that. I was like, this is sick. Yeah. So just cool.
Isn't he making his own video game?
There is a game with the record, yeah.
Wait, there's a game for your record?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't say that. He on the podcast said that he was working on a video game.
Yeah, so, this will come out after everything's out. So, yeah, Kenny made like a deck builder roguelike where you play as us. Like, one of the, like, you can like pick your character. There's like Rory, SB, me, and Kenny, and they all have like different like properties, and there's all these different cards, and it's like a very classic deck builder roguelike where you buy items and you battle up and you can get to the end and beat the final boss, and it's just this super fun.
So hard.
It is so
That's
dope.
so hard.
It is the coolest game ever. It like full of like secrets and like interesting stuff and like weird little tidbits about, you know, just like indie rap in general, and just like, I don't know, like, it's just so clever and funny. Like, one of my favorite things is so like sometimes in between fights you'll like go into what he calls like scenarios, where like, or like stories, and it'll be like a guy stops you on a street and asks you if you want to hit his joint. Like, do you hit it? And if you say yes, you might get a buff or you might get like a debuff. And if you say no, then like nothing happens. But one of them is this guy named D's Cogs, like Discogs, and he can sell you cards that might be fake.
Damn, this is like a...
It's like a game. It's
like a real
game. It's
game.
like a fucking video game. It's so
What's it
cool.
gonna be on?
It's just gonna be on itch, so like you can just download it on your computer and play it, I think. Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. But it's been so fun to like have that also be a part of this. He like made a full video game. And it came out amazing. My friend Brandon, who also makes games, did the 3D modeling for the album art.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
album is awesome.
Yeah.
The cover, the artwork for
yeah,
it
yeah,
is really...
yeah. So those like 3D models were made by our Rubaiyat.
Who else is on the project?
It's all Rubaiyat. So it's just Rap Ferreira, SB the Moore, Randall Bravery, and Share. Those are all the features.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really dope.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't know you played drum. Do you still play drums?
Sometimes, yeah. But yeah, when I was younger, like my dad was a drummer, and his dad was a drummer.
My dad's a drummer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a drummer too. Played drum set, played like snare drum in middle school. And one of my biggest regrets is not continuing to do it in high school. Because when I was younger, I thought it wasn't cool. But now when I look back on it and I see people doing drumline, I'm like, that's fucking sick.
Isn't that everything though?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to do comedy when I was younger, but
Yeah.
I was like, people are gonna think I'm dumb for doing this.
When I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to wear that outfit and like do marching band. And I'd be watching people that do, and I'm like, you look so cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to me. But yeah, and
It's feeding into that wanting to be like popular when you realize everyone that's...
I thought it was lame at the time, but it's actually cool.
Like if you look at everyone who was popular during like our parents' era, they're
Yeah.
like what they hate now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were like breaking gender conformity. They were like whether it be like Prince or the rock stars or whatever, it's like, damn, you guys are like
how can you think,
loved the thing you
Yeah.
guys now hate.
That's a great point. Like, how can you think Prince is cool, but then like be bigoted about like
Literally.
non-binary people? Like, you're crazy.
But that's,
Yeah.
that's it. That is like a real thing though.
Absolutely. But yeah, I play drums, I play guitar, and I have like a folk rock indie band that I play around here with. And
What's the name of your band?
First Passionate Frisbee Club.
Oh, I want to see you guys play.
Yeah, we play around here like kind of frequently.
And you DJ too, right?
No. I like play beats sometimes.
Oh, okay.
I host a beat night at State Park in Cambridge.
And that's when
called
you go by
.dev.
.dev. Okay, yeah.
And I'll do like live looping, so it's all like improv beats, and I'll like make beats on the fly. Yeah.
When I saw Milo Rap Ferreira do Solid Sound when he was like DJing his own set, that was the first time I had seen shit like that.
Oh yeah, that's
ever,
like,
because I was always coming from more of the like grind, like
traditional like rapper with a DJ.
yeah, or
Yeah.
just like the like, I don't know, like I always liked the hard shit because I didn't know there was other shit. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not that it's not hard, but you know, like
I hear you. I
Griselda, like,
Yeah, I
it's
understand.
crazy that you and Griselda are the same genre, but you aren't. I love you guys both like equally,
in
but
the
it's
same
weird.
sphere, but you know, not
Isn't
exactly.
it's weird with rap?
Yeah,
rap
like
is,
stylistically, maybe not the most similar, but like definitely our approach to art is very similar.
but it's just the
Yeah.
genre is so wide
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
hip hop
absolutely.
rap that it's
Absolutely.
there's not really another genre like that that's so
Yeah.
spread out.
I actually heard what's his name? Logic say something that was pretty poignant about this, where like in rock there's like a million subgenres of rock, but with rap it's just rap. You know? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's true though,
Yeah.
but it's also a very new art form.
Yeah.
This year's the 50th anniversary of rap.
That's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's young as fuck.
When did you know? Like, when did you know who you were?
As an artist?
Yeah, like, when did you take yourself seriously? Like, when were you like, well, fuck if it's gonna make me look cool or not, I'm just gonna do it.
I was always like that.
He's playing Rome Streets, good for him.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Exit Gallery.
That exit. I was always like that, just because that's how my mom raised me. To just be myself. I was always really weird, without it being like artistic. Like even like when I was younger, I was just fucking weird. Like I was into weird shit. I was just like not like a normal kid, really. I was just like doing weird stuff all the time.
Did
So,
did you think that you were normal, or were you know?
I knew that I was different than other people. Like, but I wasn't like super stoked about it. But I knew that I wasn't like I'd go to school and all the boys would talk about like, oh, they want to play baseball or whatever. I was like, it's not for me. Like, I don't know. And I was just very much aware that there was something about me that was different than everybody else I was around. Or most of the people. Obviously, it's not like I was the only weird person, in my school. But that's like a little too far-fetched. But yeah, I was definitely just knew I was kind of weird, and the things I liked were weird. I played with Legos until I was like, pretty old. Like I was still like,
I wish I had the money to buy Legos.
but I was doing the thing where you'd like make them talk and jump. Like I was doing that until a pretty old age. Like
you're like right before you came outside.
damn near, yeah. No, I was doing that for pretty and I was really into like, weird video games and like just stuff that I think like people my age weren't, or like people my age around me weren't engaging with. Like I didn't really have a lot of friends who liked the same stuff as me until I was a lot older.
There's hella bugs out.
Yeah.
People are gonna see this. I don't have a Twitch.
Where are the bugs?
I don't have a Twitch. I just keep seeing.
Yeah.
I keep like doing this, and then it's because of the bugs. It's
Yeah.
because of the bugs. So
yeah.
you said you feel the importance of this record you're dropping because of how the single is being received?
And just because of everything. I feel like this is the most I've worked on a project. The most like attention's been drawn to like everything, and like it's the most people in my corner regarding like everything going on around it. And I know it's a big deal. I'm trying to be very conscious and grateful that I'm entering this like pantheon of rappers that like have these like collaborative records with Kenny, like and that's like very exciting, and I feel really like grateful that this is happening. But also at the same time, I don't want it to turn into this thing of like, oh, like everyone's doing me a favor. Like I think I also want to acknowledge that like I've became so ill that I get to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, 100%. That's
yeah. So,
but do you feel like you're finally ready for it?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it all. I'm excited for what it brings. I'm not trying to expect anything, but I do think it'll be like a big deal. I don't know. Yeah.
Is time moving slow until the release?
Yes. So slow.
Like
so fucking slow. I need this shit to come out like right away.
That's so cool.
We're ordering the cassette tapes in a few days.
Cassettes are blowing up.
Yeah.
They're dope.
Yeah, they're They look cool. They're dope. They're cheap to make, sort of. Not anymore, really. I mean, they kind of used to be. But if you want all the bells and whistles, it's kind of like not that cheap. But
What are the bells and whistles?
you know, like the obi strip and the shrink wrap and the pad printing on the actual tape itself and the insert and the full color printing and
Yeah.
all that.
Obi strips make no sense to me, but I like them.
It's just a pretty adornment. It's just like a wrapper on. It's just like another wrapper.
It's like a skin. It's like a Fortnite skin. It's a Fortnite skin for vinyls.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so back to your question about being myself or knowing when I was me, I've always kind of been proud of who I am and like in my weirdness. But I think not until I was like in high school did I start like really embracing it. Because you know, kids are shy and weird and people get bullied and whatever. But I stopped letting it affect me in high school, and with when I got access to the internet, like the things that I knew about and liked just became more hyper niche. I think nowadays you see these weird niche things get mass appeal faster, but like when I was younger, like the equivalent to Five Nights at Freddy's now, like was not a lot of people like knew about it like that, you know, or like weird internet things like that, or like Homestuck, you know, like Homestuck was popular, but it wasn't like it was at, you know, Hot Topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a need to know basis.
Yeah,
type.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. So, and I was into stuff like that. So, yeah, just like little freaky kid. But after a while, I didn't let it stop me, and yeah.
I think people think kids are getting weirder.
Well, I think,
But
that
I think people are just embracing, like it's easier to find what you like and embrace it.
Yeah,
you know
stuff, and I think it's easier to roll things out to people nowadays. Like, so it's more accessible. Like weird stuff is more accessible, and fast track to commercial access is way quicker. You know?
Yeah, but that's why I think our parents, not our parents, but parents liked people like Prince and now don't, is they were like, I get to be myself. And then they just have to conform to what society really is and start hating that they couldn't be themselves.
Absolutely.
But now you can really start to be yourself and embrace it, and it will work out no matter what field you're in, you know?
That's so true.
Anyway, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming out.
I really appreciate it. We were at a dope little park.
Yeah, the sun poked out.
The rain didn't affect us too much.
That was good.
I really do appreciate this. I can't wait to hear the full record.
Yeah, How to Capture Playful, out October 20th. It's already out. Go listen to it.
Where can people find you?
Oh, Pink Navel. That's my artist name. My Instagram is .dev, DOTDEV_. My Twitter, or my X, is Pink Navel Online. I don't have a website, but...
Yeah, I let my website go up. I just downloaded Threads for the first time.
I saw, because you followed me.
It followed everyone.
I know you made a Threads. I'm on Threads too, but I don't know.
I don't like X. I never liked Twitter that much, and now I really don't like X.
I loved Twitter, so this was like a big loss for me when it made it weird.
Yeah. Elon Musk is getting weirder and weirder. Mm-hmm. It was like...
You said it. You fucking said it.
If he listens to this podcast, imagine... Imagine he listened.
Again. You're never going to be able to tweet about it again. He's going to be like, blocking all your accounts. Nuking your whole Twitter.
I'll talk good about Zuckerberg so I don't get my Instagram pulled. Exactly. But anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you guys for listening. Peace out.
Hey,